lot of the times I tend to think of the memories we had together. And then I also tend to go through periods where I try to reflect, am I doing her proud? Is what I'm sort of heading towards making her proud? And I think sometimes I feel like I'm falling short, and that's when I sort of try to work towards a higher standard, I guess, for myself. I think sentiment-wise, when things like birthdays do arise, it obviously isn't ever easy. I think sometimes I'll say a little prayer, maybe on the day, maybe look back at some of the pictures that we had, some of the videos. That's sort of what I tend to go through the process. And for the most part, sometimes, for example, graduation, when I was graduating, it was hard to be happy in that moment, knowing that she didn't get her chance to graduate. The things that I remember most about her is the fact that, opposite to me, she had a more fearless spirit to her. She tended to want to always make people in the room comfortable when she was around. She would always call me out on maybe little tendencies or sort of problematic things that she felt that I was doing or part of. And I think for her to be the one in our household to sort of always be the one holding each of us accountable, even as a family, like certain things that she felt we weren't doing right. I think I always miss that, having that loud voice in the house that's always sort of directing sort of our journey or our path. I think that was very special about her for us and as a family. The foundation was created to honor the life of my sister. It was also created to advocate for the eradication of gender-based violence and femicide in South Africa. It isn't ever easy knowing what to say to people that have suffered from gender-based violence. Having gone through the experience, I think sometimes it just feels like words of encouragement and nothing else, and sort of what's the point in some sense. Sometimes a sense of sadness when you see how much work there still has to be done, just how devastated some people's lives are as a result of the impacts. But I think there's also a sense of pride in being a part of the foundation and knowing that the foundation is trying to do something about it. I think is also something that I take reward from. I think the issue with speaking out when these topics do arise, like men are trash and gender-based violence topics, it isn't ever easy to be able to articulate yourself well. I think for myself personally, it is overwhelming, and obviously knowing that it affects you a lot, it isn't easy to engage in those conversations. I think the fact that a lot of conversations are on social media and not all of the conversation is productive in a sense. So I think for myself, seeing some of the interactions that I've seen, I think I sort of tended to shy away from that, just maybe as a coping mechanism of sorts. But I think a lot of things stem from attitudes that you might have as friends and the discussions that you have as friends, and sort of, I think that is essentially the fostering ground where if someone's out of line and they aren't called out within their friendship group, it almost creates an environment where they can feel almost able to do as they please. When people do step out of line and people are in the wrong, I think it's important to have people that can sort of productively call you out and productively try to help you see what is wrong with what you're doing and how it's important for you to sort of change your attitudes or change your ways. I think that's important. So for events like the march, it isn't ever easy during those events, sort of the memories and things like that do arise as a result. But when I take myself out of the picture and I try to envision what the actual end goal is, I think it's bigger than myself or any one person. So that's why I think we've banded around the foundation, because it has the capacity to incorporate many different people's feelings and goals and aspirations and ambitions. With time, I think if we're all contributing towards something bigger than ourselves, there is hope, be it creating safer spaces in schooling or in communities. I think that also the opportunities for young boys and men to learn of better roles that they can play. We don't have any other choice but to try be active and try participate as much as we can. I think if the foundation continues to foster those environments, then it will always be honoring her memory, because those are the things that she advocated for.